y'all, what's poppin'? And welcome back to my channel, Poppin' Opinion, where we talk about the hot button topics of today, give you our not so popular opinion, wrap it in a couple of facts, and then we leave it at that. So today we are going to talk about Texas and their ban on abortions. Yes, y'all, I must weigh in on this topic here. Abortions, we got to talk about it, y'all. Now, before we get into the new law, I did want to show the old law where it used to be 20 weeks. So let's get right into it. So Texas has passed a new abortion law that bans abortions after 6 weeks. Now, that's tip of the iceberg, basically, of the controversy. The law also further goes on to state that anyone assisting a person in breaking this law can be sued. That means the doctors, the nurse, the Uber driver, anyone that helps facilitate an abortion after 6 weeks can also be sued for up to $10,000. Come on now, Texas. Really? Now, the interesting thing about the lawsuit portion of the ban is that the person actually having the abortion, you can't sue them. You can only sue the person that helped facilitate the abortion. Make it make sense. So, you know me, I am a fact gatherer first. So what I did is did a little research on the actual law itself. Now here's an excerpt that kind of sums up the law. So after gathering some facts and doing some research on the law or ban, here's what I gathered. It says that it's illegal in the state of Texas. Now, this is Texas, y'all. This is not the world. This is just Texas. It's illegal to perform an abortion at the point where you can detect a fetal heartbeat or cardiac activity. And the assumption is this is around 6 weeks. Now, this is only the first half of the controversial ban. We're going to get into the second half, which is the lawsuit portion later. We're going to first delve into this part here, the 6-week time frame of when it becomes illegal to actually perform an abortion. So the first thing we want to look at or talk about is when can you actually hear a fetal heartbeat? When is it actually a heart? When is it actually a fetus? So let's talk about that next. So first, let's look at the science of a fetal heartbeat. Now, the first interesting thing or fact that I came across was that a baby isn't even considered a fetus until the 8th week of pregnancy. At the 6th week of pregnancy, it's only considered an embryo. So to me, that's a powerful argument there. It's a powerful statement because the language in the ban or law clearly states fetal heartbeat. And to go even a step further, at 6 weeks, the embryo does not have an actual formed heart or heartbeat. Actually, the tubes that will later form the heart are what's forming at 6 weeks. And according to doctors, the distinguished flutter that can be detected actually happens to be a group of cells that will ultimately become the heart. They gain the capacity to fire electrical signals around 6 weeks. Now, you can only hear this flutter at this stage through a vaginal ultrasound. Now, the actual heart of the fetus can actually be heard and truly assessed between 8 to 10 weeks, which is basically when the embryo becomes a fetus. So we have to ask, who determined that 6 weeks should be the cutoff point And why? Why 6 weeks versus 8 or 10 weeks? So let's get into that. My opinion, men. We have a bunch of men making decisions and determining what women should do with their bodies. And most men think logical. They feel this is just the logical decision for us to make. But let's just step back for a second and take a look at the language in the ban or the new law. It talks about fetus. So if we take the science of the fetus and bump it up against the language that's actually spoken in the new law or ban, it's an illogical decision to make 6 weeks the determining point of when a woman can't have an abortion. It's illogical. And the other thing that irritates me about this whole issue is the media and the critics are trying to spin this and say that Texas has banned abortions. Oh my God, you can't get an abortion in Texas. And that is not what is going on here. You cannot have an abortion in the state of Texas past the 6 week point. That does not mean you cannot have an abortion in Texas. Texas has just simply shortened the countdown of when you can have an abortion. But come on, y'all, it's Texas. Texas has never been a state about fairness. Never. So let's get into some real talk. So if you live in the state of Texas and you are past the 6 week point of pregnancy and you want to have an abortion, who's stopping you from leaving Texas? Who's stopping you from going to Arkansas, Louisiana, hell, New Mexico? No one's stopping you from leaving the state of Texas and having your abortion, if that's what you're determined to do. The law doesn't say you can't leave the great state of Texas. It simply says it can't go down in Texas. So I'm gonna just put this out here. I am a woman who has been on this rock for a few years. So there are a few things that I do know. Now, if you are in your first trimester and you are determined to not have a baby, I know, like you know, cough medicine and some laxatives, you can call the doctor in the morning. Now, I'm not giving you the recipe for an abortion. What I'm simply stating is, if you are determined, there are ways around this ban or law. No one has to be stuck in the state of Texas with an unwanted pregnancy if that is not what you want to do. Also, what I want to address about this issue is that the media would have you believe that this issue is about race, minorities, or economic standing. And that's not what this ban is about. It's not about race. It's not about economic standing. It's about control. The media is saying that this ban or this new law here, it's designed to stop minorities or poor or underprivileged people from getting the medical help or medical attention they need when it comes to the abortion issue. But hey, let's state some facts here. The poor people and the minority people of the world, they are the most resourceful people of the world. When it comes to getting something done and the determination of getting it done, it will go down. So don't be confused or don't be sidetracked by what the media is saying, that this is an attack on minorities or underprivileged people, because that's not what it's about. Once again, it's about control. And to further elaborate on my opinion, let's just take a look at some facts. The state of Texas. Texas is a southern state. It's a racist, prejudiced state. So this state really does not care about minority people or underprivileged people. So why would they pass a law or a ban that allows these people to continuously procreate? They don't want you there to begin with. That's just logic right there. They don't want minorities, people with poor economic standings. They don't want you in the state of Texas. So why would they want you to keep having babies and continuously populate their state with these poor minority children? Make it make sense. It's about control. The majority controls the state, and the majority of the people in power in the state are men. Men want to rule the world, and they want to control everything on it. It's just simple control. They want control of those that matter. Minorities, people with poor economic standing, they don't matter according to the people with power. So this is not a law or a ban that was made to control minorities. That's not the issue. Do not let the media or the critics dilute the issue. That's not it. It's simply men wanting to keep and gain control over women. They simply want control over those that matter. And that's not my brown skin. Okay? Now, I do want to stop here and just interject this statement here. Our conversation here is not about my standing on abortion, whether I'm pro-abortion or anti-abortion. What I am for is individual rights, the right to make your own decision. I feel you have a right to decide if you want to abort the life within you or if you want to grow and nurture the life within you. I feel that that is your decision to make, because you ultimately have to deal with the decisions and consequences of your decision. No man should be involved in that decision, because they are not the ones that have to deal with the mental or the physical consequences of that decision. So at the end of the day, I simply say, do you boo-boo. Now, once again, I have rambled on and on about a subject that I feel passionate about. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video here. Now, I know we only touched on the first part of the controversial ban on abortions in Texas, and there's another whole part that we need to discuss. So I will pick that up in part 2. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and check out part 2 on the Texas abortion law, or the Texas new abortion law or ban. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I hope I entertained and educated you just a little bit on this topic here. And I want to leave on this note here. Take what you need, leave what you please, but remember, opinions are always